And the next speaker is someone who operates at the very intersection of technology, people, and purpose.
We are honored to have with us Mr. Sandeep Arora, Vice President at Capgemini, with a career spanning leadership roles at giants like Verizon, Expedia, and Wipro. He has built the global capability centers and modernized the mission critical platforms that keep our world connected.
What truly sets him apart is his instinct for transformation. By blending corporate leadership with venture funding and startup experience, he has become a leading voice on how AI can elevate human potential and redefine entire industries.
An advocate for inclusive innovation and a champion for ecosystems that empower diverse talent, please join us in welcoming a leader who is shaping the next generation of connectivity, Mr. Sandeep Arora.
And how many very excited about the future? Yeah, this is the crowd which I like. So first of all, thank you so much, Rajin sir, for inviting me here. It's always a pleasure to be among the young minds who are curious, who are still exploring, and they have the zing for trying new things. So wonderful to be here. And it's an honor to be invited as the chief guest. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, so technology, I think it's hard to live in today's time and not run into what's happening around us. And there's one thing, right? If you look at all the changes which are happening in the technology world, if there is one thing that is constant in last few years, and it's only accelerating now, that is the pace at which things are changing. I mean, it's humongous. It's virtually impossible to keep a track of how things are changing. Look at the AI models coming out every single week. Look at the robotics, the things which are happening these days. So it's crazy, the pace at which things are changing. So while all of that is happening around you, if there is one thing, as you're very close to graduating and joining the workforce, if there is one thing which I can think of that is going to serve you well in your career, that one idea is the power of reset. And I'll tell you what I mean by reset. So typically when we hear the word reset, the word failure comes to mind. That, hey, look, I need to reset because maybe I failed at something in the past. But reset is not that. Now I want you to take note of that. Reset in today's time is really letting go of everything which is not going to help you in future, and really making a space for what's next. Because the pace at which things are changing, it is going to require you to do a lot of letting go of the past, right? And reset to me comes down to four key things, right? I think it's super important for anybody who's joining the workforce in today's time, and even most of our people who have been working for many years, like me. Yeah, it's very important these days to constantly let go of all our past learnings. We have picked up many tools, many technologies, expertise in different areas. I think it's time to let go of that and be very focused on what's coming ahead of us. And there is a lot of new things, there's a lot of AI-powered tools and technologies and new expertise that's available. But you can only tap into that if you make a space for all of that by letting go of what you have picked up so far. Right? So reset your learning. That's number one. Number two, you're going to think of resetting how you operate. Yeah? Why is that important? See, people like me who have been in the workforce for many years, we grew up in a workforce that was made up of humans around us, right? So in fact, in organizations, we even have an HR department for that purpose. But by the time you're joining workforce, you're stepping into a world where you will be working with organizations that are a collection of humans as well as machines. So you will have to do a lot of learning about how to operate, not just with your friends, human friends, but a lot of smart, capable machines, a lot of really smart systems, which can do wonderful things. But you can do that if you start developing a degree of comfort, in operating that way. So that is second reset, which I think is very, very important. Third reset, and I just have four, right? So very simple. The third reset is in the meaning that we attach to work, right? People like me, we've gotten used to, very stable-ish careers. Where, you work with a company, you kind of do a similar job for long enough, right? But guess what? Future is not going to have that. So a lot of meaning that we attach to the stability, a lot of meaning that we attach with doing a certain kind of work for a number of years, I think that will need a fundamental reset. Because in my view, careers of the future are just not going to be kind of linear and the stable paths that we have seen so far. Those are going to be more like very evolutionary and be able to take advantage of new things which are happening around us. So be open and think of resetting the meaning that you attach to work. Because a lot of wonderful things that will happen in future, it's not necessary that you are the ones driving it. There will be capable, very smart systems working with you that will help you get better. So the meaning that you attach to work, I think is ready for doing a bit of reset. And the last one, which I think is very, very important, and when you grow up in a campus like this, you have friends around you all the time. You're living in hostels, you're in classrooms where there are hundreds like you. So you start taking the network around you for granted, almost. Right? These are my friends and always going to be available to me. I think, when you start operating in this structure where machines and smart systems and you are all coexisting, and everybody is going through this rapid evolution, because not that many people have figured it out, right? We are all figuring it out as we go. So it's going to be important that you invest in the right kind of platforms and ecosystems, because you're not the only one going through that journey. So don't feel stressed out, don't feel isolated that, look, I have this tough life ahead of me. There are many like you. So it's very, very important for you to start investing in the platforms, the professional platforms and ecosystems that are going to help you, grow in future. And from my experience, I can tell you, these things come very handy to us when we're in a campus like this, because you have friends just next to you. But when you join the workforce, you get into a little more maybe competitive state of mind. So you might not have naturally as much of support structure that you have today, unless you work very consciously to make that happen. So those are my few kind of, reset ideas for you. I don't think there is anything else which is going to help you grow in your future more than this capability. You're going to constantly keep making space for what's new, because a lot of what's going to come to us, to all of us, most of us haven't really seen it yet. And it's the change, the pace again is humongous. So let's just get up. It's easy, it's quite doable. So we'll all have our place in the future, just that we got to make space for that. So those are a few quick ideas I wanted to share with you, and thank you again for the opportunity. It's always wonderful to be here, and I'm available for some more time if anybody wants to interact. Thank you so much, and have the wonderful rest of the event. It's going to be a fantastic one. Thank you.